We had a question from the audience about mitigation strategy for facility design of recirculating air from HVAC systems. What beyond just general air conditioning, what are the critical roles of pressurization, segregation, isolation in HVAC systems for preventing contamination?
That's the lead in. I mean, the first thing is you got to, there's three aspects. One is pressurization, making sure that you deal with the pressurization to make sure that the contaminations will be blown out or be captured by the HVAC system. So you may be the traditional one where the center core is pressurizing, then it goes to the airlocks, and then goes out gradually. But more and more, and especially in the small molecule area, and dealing with a lot of the even new biologicals, you now have potent compounds, you have very, very active compounds. So you have to use pressurization from a standpoint of sometimes implementing bubbles and sinks. A bubble is air blowing out from a particular room. A sink is air blowing into it. So say you may have a potent compound as a small molecule. Right next to that would be an air sink to absorb everything. And then on the outside of that would be an air bubble to make sure you pressurize the corridor and pressurizing that particular process suite. So pressurization is one. Two is what we call is process isolation. So that the one process train is, from an HVAC standpoint, is all one unit. It's one single unit, and it's controlled all within that. And what we've been doing more and more lately is HEPA in and HEPA out. That controls what's going on in that particular suite. So if you have a biological, you have a potent compound, you have some kind of super active compound, you HEPA air all the air return, as well as supply HEPA in. And then the last one is segregation, is that we should be using smaller and smaller HVAC units only for that particular process area and that particular process train. Don't have one of these like the old legacy systems where you had one gigantic HVAC and it serves, 5 or 6 processes and 25 rooms or whatever. Those days are over. They're too expensive. They cost too much to maintain. And if the HVAC crashes, you're out of luck for a whole bunch of areas. So pressurization, in terms of protecting that environment, the pristine environment, and protecting the people in the exterior. Segregation from the HVAC standpoint, and process isolation, keeping that all in one particular envelope is really critical.
I want to bring another question in from the audience now, which is it necessary to get a high air change rate? High value may be more than enough with energy wasted. I've seen some companies reduce ACR below the value cited in FDA guidance, ISPE, but still achieve satisfying results. What is your opinion about this? Anyone have an opinion on that air change rate?
You want to throw the dice? Throw the dice. I wouldn't do that. There's a reason for that. There's a reason, and yes, you can achieve a Class C environment at an ACR of 15 to 20, and you can get a Class D at 10. But the reality is it's you have a tremendous amount of risk associated with it. And how do you have it asymmetrically covering the area? Do you have a floor level return? The reality is I would not go. I have a if you want to look Class D, I'd use 15. For Class C, I tend to use 25 to 30, and also do a risk assessment. What are we doing inside? If we're handling media prepping, or we're handling some kind of potent compounds or whatever, I usually boost the air rate up to make sure that I have the level of capture to protect the process as well as the people. So you've got to look at it. You're saving energy. How much energy are you really saving, and putting what at risk? The product at risk, the people at risk, the environment at risk. I mean, I think that's really foolish.
Are there any new HVAC technologies, new or emerging, that offer advantages over traditional large air handlers, I guess particularly for, containment and reliability?
Fan wall technology. People are starting to use more and more fan wall, where you have multiple small drives in the HVAC as opposed to one. So you could have an individual failure. You could, again, it's to risk failures.